2. New Treatise on Political Administration, an advanced conception of Western political and economic systems. 2. 资政新篇，西方政经制度的超前构想。Hong Rengan lived in Hong Kong for a long time, exposed to Western political, economic, legal, and social systems for a long time. He arrived in Tianjin in the 9th year of Xianfeng 1859年, was conferred the title of Prince Gan, and took charge of the state affairs, and immediately presented New Treatise on Political Administration. This document broke through the cognitive boundaries of previous peasant wars and completely introduced the design of Western capitalist system. Economically, it advocated the construction of railways, steamships, and banks, guaranteeing patents and mining development. Politically, it advocated cutting redundant officials, setting up admonishers, and opening up news and public opinion. Diplomatically, it advocated equality among all nations, mutually beneficial trade, and abandoning the empty etiquette of the tributary system. Hong Xiuquan annotated the whole text one by one with, "This policy is correct and feasible," recognizing its institutional direction. However, at that time, the Taiping Heavenly Kingdom was already in a desperate situation of military defeat, internal division, and financial exhaustion. A.N.D. and New Treatise on Political Administration completely lacked implementation conditions and eventually became a dead letter. As the earliest systematic modernization program in the late Qing dynasty, it proves that the impact of Western institutions not only acted on the imperial court of the Qing dynasty, but also triggered echoes simultaneously in the opposing political camps, and also provided an ideological prehistory for the later thoughts of Westernization and reform. 3. The New Deal of Westernization, systematic implantation of Western military-industrial system. 3. 洋务新政，西方军事工业制度的体系植入第一部分。The program boundary and practical breakthrough of Chinese learning as essence Western learning. As utility, 一中体西用的纲领边界与实践突破。Westernization bureaucrats such as Zheng Guofan, Li Hongzhang, Zhuo Zongtang, and Zhang Zidong took Chinese learning as the essence, Western learning as utility as the reform program, a dhering to the Confucian ethical codes and the imperial autocratic system, and only introducing Western military, industrial, and technological systems. This program has obvious institutional limitations, but at that time it broke the conservative confinement of the distinction between Chinese and barbarians and achieved three major practical breakthroughs. First, establishing modern military-industrial enterprises to realize the localization of hot weapons. Second, introducing Western technical talents and production standards to establish a machine-industrial system. Third, promoting overseas study and new education to cultivate technical and military talents. The Westernization movement was not a scattered procurement of materials, but a limited institutional transplantation, laying the initial institutional framework for China's modern industry and military. 二、克虏伯军购与德式军备体系的确立。The Westernization faction gradually formed a pro-German orientation in armament introduction, and German Krupp military industry became the core equipment source of the late Qing army and navy. Li Hongzhang presided over the construction of the Beiyang coastal defense, purchasing hundreds of Krupp fortress guns successively, deploying them in key ports such as Lushun, Weihai, Dagu, Wusong, and Mawei to build a coastal military-industrial fortress system. The battery site selection, fortification design, and firing range planning all adopted German standards. In the campaign to recover Xinjiang by Zhuo Zongtang, Krupp light field guns and mountain guns were specially purchased, becoming the firepower core for capturing important towns such as Manas and Kashgar. The Fuzhou Shipping Administration, founded by him, also introduced Krupp naval guns to equip self-made ships. By the 1880s, Krupp artillery had become the unified standard equipment of the Qing Army's army, navy, and coastal defense, supporting the establishment of ammunition production, artillery maintenance, and gunner training systems, marking that China's hot weapon system was fully in line with European industrial standards. The business report of the New York Times on the 10th of April 1885 stated, "Orders from the Krupp factory are reshaping China's land defense pattern, and German industrial influences penetrated deep into the hinterland of East Asia." The formation of the Beiyang Navy, the complete implementation of the Western naval system. 3. 北洋海军成军，西方海军制度的完整落地。In the 14th year of Guangxu, 1888, the Qing court promulgated the Beiyang Navy regulations, and the Beiyang Navy was formally established. Its establishment, military rank, logistics, drills, and military law were fully referenced to the British Navy regulations, ranking among the first-class navies in Asia. The main warships of the fleet were custom-made and purchased from the West. The two warships Dingyuan and Zhenyuan were Qisansan Wu-Tun ironclads built by the Vulcan shipyard in Germany, equipped with Susan Lingwahomi Krupp main guns, ranking first in Asia in armor and firepower. Jiyuan and Jingyuan were purchased from the Armstrong shipyard in the UK. ND Jingyuan, Laiyuan, and Jiyuan were purchased from the Vulcan shipyard in Germany, forming a combat system of mixed British and German warships and unified German artillery. The fleet hired British naval officer William M. Lang as the chief instructor, implementing Western navigation training, naval tactics, and fleet coordination. AND established three major naval ports in Lushun, Weihai, and Dagu, supporting the establishment of docks, ammunition depots, naval hospitals, and naval academies. The formation of the Beiyang Navy was the pinnacle achievement of the institutional implantation of the Westernization movement, and also the first complete practice of the Western naval system in China. The Military Review of the New York Times on the 28th of December 1888 stated bluntly, "The emergence of the Beiyang fleet has broken the balance of maritime power in East Asia for a century, and China has for the first time possessed modern armed forces to resist maritime invasion." Part 4. Technical implantation by foreign employees. France leading shipping administration, Germany and France, empowering heavy industry. 饲养员技术植入，法国主导船政，德法赋能重工。The late Qing military industry and shipbuilding system were highly dependent on Western technical experts, forming a division pattern of shipbuilding relying on France and ordnance metallurgy relying on Germany and France. Zhuo Zongtang founded the Fuzhou Shipping Administration, Maui Shipyard, in the 5th year of Tongji 1866, hiring a full team of French naval engineers. The French side was responsible for ship design, dock construction, process standards, production management, and student teaching. The Shipping Administration Academy offered courses in French, shipbuilding and driving, fully adopting French naval textbooks. Maui Shipyard built dozens of Western-style steamships successively, becoming the cradle of China's modern naval shipbuilding industry, with the imprint of French technology and institutions throughout. During his tenure as governor of Hubei, Zhang Zidong founded the Hanyang Iron Works and Hubei Arsenal, hiring a large number of German and French metallurgical and ordnance engineers, introducing Western blast furnace iron making, converter steel making, and gun boring processes, establishing a complete industrial chain from ore mining to weapon delivery. Western foreign employees not only provided technical support, but also implanted modern management systems such as factory attendance, quality inspection, cost accounting, and apprentice training into China, completing institutional empowerment beyond material introduction. Although some foreign employees had problems such as technical monopoly, excessive salaries, and conflicts of rights and responsibilities, the industrial system they brought completely ended the production model of China's traditional manual workshops. 5. 留美幼童与稀缺人才储备. In the 11th year of Tongji, 1872, promoted by Yang Wing, the Qing court selected 120 young children to study in the United States, who were admitted to American primary and secondary schools and universities such as Harvard, Yale, and Columbia in batches, majoring in military, engineering, mining, navigation, diplomacy, law, and other majors. These young children deeply integrated into American society, received modern scientific and civic education, and emerged as pillars of modernization such as Zhang Tianyu, Tang Shaoyi, and Kai Tingan. In the 7th year of Guangxu, 1881, conservatives, on the grounds of being contaminated with Western habits and abandoning Confucianism, petitioned the Qing court to withdraw all the Chinese educational mission children. ND, the study abroad program, aborted halfway. However, this action is still of milestone significance. IT broke the talent monopoly of the imperial examination, established a channel for the circulation of Chinese and Western knowledge. The returned Chinese educational mission children later spread all over the fields of navy, railway, diplomacy, education, and industry, becoming the core talent support for the implementation of Western institutions. IV diplomatic institutional transformation. From tributary etiquette to international law system.